Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, all you rainmakers out there, to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and today we're going to get back into it with the Ecomi, or as you may know it, the VeVe app on the phone. We're going to talk about what's going on with it and my price prediction for this bull run. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started, right? Join me, rainmakers. So, what in the world is going on with VeVe or Ecomi? It's hard to know what to call them because they name their app something different than the name of the company. But I like to refer to them as VeVe because it is VeVe that is going to drive most of everything. So if you follow my channel for a while, I've spoken about them multiple times and you're familiar with them already, which is great. And if you're new to the channel and you've been hearing Ecomi and VeVe, well, let me share with you my take on it. First of all, collectibles, they've always been a thing. It is an extremely lucrative industry. And imagine this, finally they figured out how to guarantee authenticity on digital stuff. And the great thing about digital stuff is your manufacturing cost goes way, way down. But because it's so new, my guess is there are far fewer people collecting it now than there will be in the future. And so there will be a scarcity of these early series versus the overall demand that will come. And so we're seeing some ridiculous price action on many of the collectibles related to this and the blockchains associated with that. So, what is going on with Ecomi? Well, recently, it was in the top 30 trending searches on CoinGecko under the OMI token right here. And the market cap is absolutely gone ballistic. Now, apparently, I invested in this back in the ICO 2.5 years ago and forgot about it during the crypto winter, right? And so I don't even know how to find those tokens. I think they were sent to a GoChain wallet that I no longer have access to. However, I only put $400 in, so I don't know where they are, but the real deal was buying Ecomi back here. So though it seems like I'm missing out a ton of money, not based on what they raised and how much I put in, I'm really not. But the real deal was all through here where you could have got the most amazing price ever and you could have had 200x gains. So what will it do in the future? Well, let's look at a few things and then we will talk about that. So it's nice to follow people's Twitter accounts, and you can follow their Twitter here and see some of the things happening. And that's great. They did do a recent drop of the Ultraman, and I was able to get a few of those. Now, unfortunately, with my setup, I don't have a Mac computer, so connecting it to my phone isn't so easy. And showing you everything here on the VeVe app is kind of hard to do, but let me show you what I can. I'm just opening it up here, and I'm connecting to the feed, and it is really this feed that's got some really cool stuff. You can see there you've got two jokers looking at each other. I can just see the amount of memes that are going to come out of this, and I think that's part of what's going to help this go viral. And when further things come out, like the GM concept cars, the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and all these people taking pictures of it and posting it to their social media, it seems like this is one of the things that is just primed and ready to go to take the market by storm. So even though the price has gone up tremendously, I think Ecomi will be one of the biggest gainers this whole year. However, I do suspect that NFTs and NFT related things will become subject to the crypto winter and that there will be some retraces. So if you're high on OMI, when it goes really crazy, and I think the market is, and we're not there yet, not compared to what we saw in 2017, it'll get a lot crazier than this. As long as the pattern follows from the last two cycles, you haven't even seen the crazy yet. And if you were trying to get the Ultraman drop, that was some of the craziness. But it's going to get worse from that. And I know people that waited trying to get access to the app and get that, either the rare or the common or uncommon, they weren't able to get anything. Some of us were able to get a little bit, not as much as we would have liked, but able to get some things. And that's just the craziness that comes with Well, I don't know, the bull run cycle. And in 2017, not only was it crazy, it got even crazier than this, and I think we'll get there again. And I think that's going to drive some ridiculous prices. Before we get into OMI and where it could go, why don't we talk about Bitcoin dominance? Because this always plays a factor. Now, I haven't talked about this in a little bit, but often what happens, there's a head and shoulders pattern here, and I didn't draw it all the way down, but it's playing out a little bit like that. And I have been expecting it to come up some, and it just hasn't. Now, maybe it will. I do think there's some very bullish signs for Bitcoin to take a jump. But there's so much interest in altcoins that what used to happen is when Bitcoin took a jump, a lot of the altcoins suffered relative to Bitcoin. But that pattern has broken many times in the last few months, so I'm not sure it's going to play out like that at all. Maybe it will. Maybe as Bitcoin takes off and the dominance might seem like it's increasing, we might see some then decreases in the altcoin market caps, or maybe both of them will go up and it will continue to look somewhat like this before at some point Bitcoin maybe hits 75,000 and then just kind of trade sideways while the alts continue to run. Now, personally, I did take most of what I had in Bitcoin and I started buying alts with it from 2 weeks ago because I was waiting for something to happen here, and it just keeps not happening. That doesn't mean it won't. But even if Bitcoin does take off, I'm not 100% certain that alts will suffer relative to it. So I was looking in the next 6 months and making my best guesses. And I thought, well, my best guess is that Bitcoin might go 5x from here. Might go 6x from here. If it goes crazy, might go 8x from here. Okay, so what could I be buying that will do a lot better than that? And those are the type of buys that I was rolling my tokens into. So let's look back at Ecomi and what's going on with them. So we've had some Batman come out, 4 series of Batman, right? We had Ultraman just drop and didn't know exactly how that would go because in Asia and Japan, where Ultraman is, I guess, a huge superhero, they were geo-locked out of it because those rights had already gone to somebody else, or they didn't want to sell those rights, or for some reason Ecomi couldn't get those rights, and so they were selling to us in the other countries that could buy it. And so some of it was just a speculative investment. I did remember Ultraman cartoons, or not the cartoons, it was really like kind of a real life, and using some of the old Godzilla type technology for the battle scenes and fights. And I remember that as a kid, and I actually loved the show when I was 5. But then they stopped showing it on the local channel, and so when I was 5 years old was the last time I saw it. So I don't even remember that much about it. But the models were really cool, I have to say, and they did a good job. And so a lot of us were buying them on speculation that the price would go up. And have they gone up? Well, it's hard to tell because the marketplace isn't there, but there is kind of like a pseudo marketplace, though I do not recommend you necessarily using this. So here we are. And let me give you what's going on here. This is Telegram. And so Telegram, you can see what some of the prices are. These are people reselling. Now, you don't know for sure that they're going to deliver on this. And so I don't recommend this. Really, if you wait till the marketplace app is there, then what you're buying it for, you know you're going to get it. Now, probably these people will deliver. You just don't know for sure. So here's the prices. Blossom, 100 gems, The Mayor, 700. Professor, 2,500. Marcelina, Ice King, 150. Jake, Finn, etc. Rainicorn, 800. So they're selling all these different things. Nightwing, 1,500. I know Nightwing is one. I was there trying to get one. I couldn't get either the ultra rare Nightwing or the rare when that drop came out, and that was really frustrating. All right, looks like they're selling, I think this is the rare, and they're selling it for 800, and so that gives you an idea. And Ultraman 7, 400, and probably they sold out of the Ultraman Common. Let's see if we can get an idea what the Ultraman Common is going for. They have for sale, but they don't have a price listed there. We don't know. And this is VeVe Traders, so if you're looking for it, VeVe Traders is what this is on. Okay, looks like Yeah, maybe they're out of commons because this person's selling 6 Ultraman 7 for 350. This one, 2 Ultraman Aces for 800 apiece. Seems to be like the going rate. Yeah, so this will give you an idea. Now, these look like commons. Ultraman First Edition, or First Appearance. So these are the commons, and this is what they're asking for the commons. So if you were able to get some of these, looks like some nice appreciation. We'll see how it plays out when the market is done, right? So with that said, let's get back to VeVe and what do I expect the price to do. Now, what I think will happen isn't necessarily what should happen. Because we're dealing with a bubble here, and a lot of people say, oh, crypto is a bubble. And they're not freaking wrong. But what they're missing is something really important. Hold on, let me make sure I still got my video feed. I want to apologize to everyone who caught my earlier video, and apparently backspace was hotkeyed to an old intro video, and so while I was typing and hit backspace, it, cut out halfway through the video and was gone for like 8 minutes of it, so you couldn't hear the audio or anything. And I had to upload that video, go to some meetings. I'm finally back in the saddle and back with you guys because I wanted to talk about Ecomi again. It's been a little bit and give you an update of my thoughts. And now that I've really soaked in what's going on with them, I could finally do my best guess at a price prediction. But all of you that caught that video, I appreciate it. I'm going to just leave the video up because I don't have time to re-record that content. And so I apologize that about 8 minutes of it is missing, like starting at 12 minutes and going all the way through, I think, 20 and a half minutes. Sorry. Well, it's hard juggling everything I'm juggling right now, and I appreciate your patience. So, Omi, where's the price prediction going? Well, it's already gone up to 1 cent from really, really, really low. But let's look at the market cap. There are some burn mechanisms going on that are not reflected here. And it is possible the circulating supply is actually a little bit higher than what's reflected here. But the burn isn't reflected in here. And really there's about 300,000 that are never going to hit the circulating supply. Or 300 billion that'll never hit the circulating supply. So I'm a lot less worried about the overall circulating supply than a lot of people. The question I have is how much is already in circulation versus the price, and we might see this increase slightly, but they have great burn mechanisms, so this will always be putting pressure down. And so let's just factor these two things out for now, that this really won't be going up a lot for the near future. And let's look at this. So the market cap is at 1,700,000,000. And where can it go from here? So at the peak of the bull market last cycle, there was one token that had a lot of hype. They had some fundamentals going well for them, but they had a lot of notoriety and hype and attention. And they reached a market cap of about 115 billion. I don't think it's out of the realm for Omi to surpass that. And so how high could it go? Remember, this is how high could it go, not how high should it go. I think it'll go for at least 100x over this, which would put it over $1. I know a lot of people have claimed Omi over $1. I think it will happen, and I think it'll happen oh so briefly, and I don't think it should happen, but that doesn't mean it won't. Ripple never should have hit, or XRP token never should have hit the valuation that it hit before, but that's what a bubble is, right? It overbooms, and then it overbusts. And most of these will bust, and they'll come down to some real attractive prices during their crypto winter. So here's my thought overall. Now, this is your first cycle, are you going to make lifetime changing wealth this cycle? Not likely if you're just joining us now, depending on how much you have to put in, what kind of risks, and just understand some of the risks will go well for you and some of them won't. And so that's putting a lot of pressure on yourself to try to hit everything out of the park. And the more pressure you put on yourself, usually you tend to react more emotionally because you're investing money that you can't afford to lose. And so when you put that kind of pressure on yourself, it increases your chances that it's not going to go as well for you as you think. So my thought for a lot of people, and this isn't financial advice, is that if you play well your first cycle and you just try to make some good bets and don't put all your eggs in one basket, but you make some good bets and then you start taking profits as the bet goes really, really well for you, it sets you really up to make some great buys during the following crypto winter. And that following cycle, if you study and you keep growing and you keep paying attention during the crypto winter, you're setting yourself up for that next cycle to really hit it out of the park to forever changing wealth. And so, I mean, myself, even all the time I had been a real estate investor and an investor in other things, I made some decent buys in 2017 that had some really good appreciation, and I held all the way into crypto winter. And so I did take all that downtime to continue to study for several hours a day, listening to some of the YouTube content that I liked, reading Medium articles, doing research on some of the projects that I thought would do well, and continued to work, and then made a lot of buys during that down market as I got extra money. And I put in everything extra I could. Like some months that was nothing, and some months it was pretty good. And I just kept buying and kept buying, setting myself up for a really good cycle this year. And so, but this cycle this year is going to come to an end at some point. And so if we're not taking gains appropriately, then we'll get wrecked in the coming crypto winter. And I'm starting to hear what you hear every cycle. This time it's different. There's going to be no downturn. Well, good luck to them. There is a chance they're right. Now, I give that chance like 10%. There is so much printing going on by all the federal banks, or the Federal Reserve in the U.S. and all the banks, the different countries, central banks, that's the word I'm looking for, that maybe they're right this time. But they say that every time. And so I don't think they're right this time either. And if I play for that strategy alone, it's just going to be a losing bet, meaning the probability of it is lower than things continuing kind of similar to how they have been. But maybe this is the cycle that, fiat currencies crash. I just don't think it is going to play out like that, but it could. So Omi literally could hit a market cap of $200 billion. Why? They have so much attention, and it's only going to grow from here. Can you imagine when you can have a DeLorean driving around, or one of those concept GM cars, and you're taking all the pictures and then they're sharing them on their Instagram and their Facebook, and people are like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And they say, yeah, I bought it for $100 and now it's $5,000. And then people are like, oh my gosh, and they're going to be FOMOing into so much. So you are in the right place at the right time. I don't think a good time to be buying this stuff will be 5 months from now. That is a fantastic time to be selling it. And am I going to be selling all my Omi? Am I going to be selling all my collectibles during that time? Almost every single one of them. Why? Because I'm an investor. I like these collectibles, but I don't want to hold through the crypto winter again. I made that mistake. Now, some of you are making a different choice, which is totally cool, and I respect that. And you're making the long-term play of not just holding this cycle, but you're going to hold through to the next one. And if you can stay strong with that, you'll probably do really, really well. What will happen, though, is there will be a lot of pressure on you in 2 or 3 years, and it will come from family members or just life happens, and there'll be this huge amount of pressure to cash out then and take some of the cash out, and you'll be cashing out at the bottom, which is terrible. So I'm just going to be cashing out on the way up almost everything, if not everything. I might save a few of the collectibles that are my very favorites, but I'll have cashed out of almost everything by then, and I can't tell you what to do. I'm just an investor myself. I'm a guy on the internet. You get to make choices for yourself. That's just what I'm doing. I do want to thank each of you who've been so loyal, my Rainmakers, really my Rainmakers out there. You're the ones that are subscribing to the channels, and you hit the all notifications button. And then you take the time to like each one of my videos, which helps this grow. And I appreciate you for helping me grow this channel. You've done phenomenal. And as we've been growing the channel, like I promised you in the beginning, it would get me in touch with some of the developers behind the projects, and then I would share that deeper information with you. So all of you who have joined me for that, I do thank you. I do go over in this quick little video on starting the channel and what I think we can accomplish together, and then I'll have some more words. Thank you for joining the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murphy, and if you haven't already, would you hit the like button? Also, if you subscribe to the channel and join us Rainmakers, well, the goal of this year is to make this year completely rain on all of us. And we're going to do that by having on some of the best guests and some of the best project teams come on and answer our questions as we get the best information, so that this year will be phenomenal for all of us. See you soon. So overall, do I think we're at a good time and a good place? Heck yes, we're exactly where we want to be. You're in exactly the right place to be learning a lot. This is the new industry that's going to change the world. And it's even hard to explain to like family members who ask me and they're like, wow, why have you done so well on that Bitcoin thing? And I say, well, Bitcoin introduced a new era of technology. Bitcoin's like cryptocurrency version 1.0, but there's so much happening that'll change the world in ways that are even hard to imagine now, just like we couldn't imagine how internet would change the world when two computers were able to call each other, but that's all that they could do. And it was over a regular phone line, and it was extremely slow, and they could exchange information. It was hard to see all the implications that that would have across the whole world. But overall, cryptocurrency and blockchain is decreasing the transaction costs of businesses, decreasing the amount of, say, vaccinations lost because they're supposed to be in cold storage, and then the temperature drops, and then that nobody knows because there's no alarm bells on it, and so they're not able to fix the situation. Then somebody shows up on Monday morning, they realize the refrigerator's been off for 3 days, and they have to throw away all those vaccinations, or they have to throw away all that meat, or they have to throw away all these things. And so blockchain can easily keep track of all those things, as well as the whole direction of the Internet of Things, where not only are devices connected to the Internet, but they can connect to accounts, and they can track value, and they can track things so you don't have to sign in everywhere you go. It's a lot easier to do like KYC for things, and it's a lot easier to verify who you are. And just overall across the world, I see transaction costs going down because of blockchain, and the businesses involved in bringing lower costs are going to make millions and trillions of dollars. And so some of those projects and some of the people invested in those projects will do exceptionally well for the long term. Do keep an eye on the market cycles. They're still full in play. They are changing some. History doesn't repeat exactly, but it does rhyme, and this is generally a 4-year cycle. And I expect Bitcoin, in my opinion, will peak out sometime in September or October. Altcoins, really, this cycle is so different from last. I don't know how long it'll go. Maybe much longer than it did last time. It could continue a year from where Bitcoin peaks. It might only go a month or two before major retracements. So later this year, I'll be taking profits not only on the little bit of Bitcoin I have left, but on altcoins, and just cashing out to hedge my risk against the big drop that may come at the end of the bull market. And every bull market eventually ends. As to when it ends, you don't know. That's what the different strategy is about. Do want to thank each of you for joining me today. I'm a huge fan of Ecomi. The team behind them, they worked very, very hard, and they're finally getting some notoriety and attention. They can't even keep up with all the attention and all the things flowing their way. And so it's going to seem slow, and it's going to seem frustrating because they're not going to have more rollouts for another 3 weeks. And in the crypto space, that feels like forever. So we do have the DeLorean coming soon. Stay tuned for that. We will be talking about it. I do want to pick up some of those full functioning DeLoreans, maybe the other ones too, but why not just pay the extra money, get the fully functioning ones? Those will be cool. And then the memes that will come out of those, I think will further push them into the public awareness that VeVe will be one of the gateways, VeVe and NBA Top Shots, for many people to get involved in blockchain and not even really know that they're involved in it because it's so similar to what people are used to. Guys, without further ado, I'm going to cut over to a song that we had Manuela record for us out of Argentina.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, Remakers, let's make this happen.